Have you ever wondered what lies beneath the surface of the world's great religions? What hidden symbols, codes, and teachings are there, deliberately veiled from the masses? Today we're diving deep into the ancient and mysterious world of religious symbolism, exploring the sacred imagery and teachings that have been passed down through the ages, not just for everyone, but for those initiated into the secret knowledge. Manly P. Hall, one of the most prominent philosophers and occult scholars of the 20th century, dedicated his life to unraveling these mysteries. His work spans across various traditions, from Freemasonry to Hermeticism, from the mysteries of ancient Egypt to the hidden teachings of Christianity. What he discovered is far beyond what most people have been taught. It is a knowledge reserved for a select few, concealed in symbols, rituals, and sacred texts. Today we will explore the profound and often concealed truths behind the symbolism used in the world's great religions. What do these symbols really mean? How have they been intentionally coded to protect and preserve esoteric knowledge? And more importantly, what is it that mainstream teachings might not want you to know? Before we dive in, if you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe, hit the like button, and leave a comment below sharing your thoughts on hidden symbolism. What religious symbols intrigue you the most, and what do you think they truly represent? Let's start a discussion in the comments. 1. The hidden language of symbols. For Manly P. Hall, symbols were not just simple representations. They were the key to understanding deeper truths about the universe and the divine. In many religions, symbols act as the language through which higher knowledge is communicated. These symbols are not arbitrary. Each shape, number, and color carries specific meaning, often connected to cosmic laws, spiritual principles, and ancient wisdom. From the cross in Christianity to the lotus in Buddhism, from the Ankh in ancient Egypt to the Star of David in Judaism, every major religion employs symbols to convey teachings that transcend the material world. These symbols are often misinterpreted or viewed merely as historical or cultural artifacts, but Hall argued that they carry hidden messages, understood only by those who have the eyes to see and the mind to comprehend. Hall pointed out that these symbols are not just representations of divine truths, but tools for the initiates to tap into spiritual and cosmic power. Understanding these symbols, he believed, is essential for unlocking the deeper mysteries of life, death, and the universe. As we begin to look at these symbols, keep in mind that they're much more than what meets the eye. What we see on the surface is just a small fragment of the vast web of interconnected meanings that have been guarded by secret societies, mystics, and esoteric traditions throughout history. In the next part of this exploration, we will dive deeper into the hidden symbolism of Christianity and how the teachings of Jesus and the early Christian church were encoded in sacred imagery. Stay tuned as we uncover more about the concealed knowledge that has been kept from the public eye. The hidden symbolism in Christianity. One of the most profound examples of hidden symbolism can be found within Christianity. While many people view the cross as a simple symbol of faith, for Manly P. Hall it represented far more. The cross is not just a sign of Christ's crucifixion, but also a symbol of the spiritual journey of the soul. It's a symbol of balance, the intersection of the divine and the material, the macrocosm and the microcosm. Hall argued that the cross itself is an ancient symbol used in many esoteric traditions, long before it was adopted by Christianity. But what does the cross truly represent in the esoteric sense? According to Hall, the vertical axis of the cross symbolizes the spiritual or divine principle, while the horizontal axis represents the material or earthly world. Together, they form a perfect balance, an intersection between heaven and earth. This duality is reflected in the teachings of Christ, who embodied both the divine and the human. His life and teachings demonstrate how one can navigate between the spiritual and physical realms, achieving enlightenment and ultimately ascension. Furthermore, the concept of resurrection, a central theme in Christianity, carries profound symbolic meaning. It is not just about Christ returning from the dead. It symbolizes the spiritual rebirth of the individual. The idea of resurrection in esoteric Christianity points to the process of spiritual transformation, the soul's journey through darkness into the light, through death into new life. This concept resonates deeply with the idea of initiation, where the initiate must die to their old self in order to be reborn into higher knowledge and spiritual understanding. But what about the other religious symbols associated with Christianity, such as the fish, the lamb, or the dove? Each of these carries deeper esoteric meanings that connect to ancient traditions and spiritual teachings that transcend the boundaries of any single religion. The fish, for example, was used by early Christians as a secret symbol to identify each other, but in an esoteric sense it represents the soul and its journey through the waters of material life, striving for spiritual enlightenment. The lamb associated with Christ symbolizes purity and sacrifice, but also the ultimate spiritual victory over ignorance and sin. The dove, representing the Holy Spirit, symbolizes peace, divine inspiration, and the ascension of the soul. These symbols, while familiar to most Christians, carry hidden meanings that extend beyond traditional teachings. Manly P. Paul's exploration of these symbols helps us understand how Christianity, like other religions, was designed to transmit hidden knowledge through sacred imagery. In the next part, we will look at how symbols in other religions, such as Buddhism and Hinduism, carry similar esoteric meanings and reflect universal truths about the nature of existence. Stay with us as we continue to peel back the layers of spiritual symbolism. As we continue our exploration of hidden religious symbolism, let's turn our attention to two of the most ancient and spiritually rich traditions, Buddhism and Hinduism. These religions, though distinct in their practices and teachings, share a profound connection in their use of symbols to convey deep spiritual truths. Manly P. Hall's analysis of these symbols reveals how they, like those in Christianity, are not just superficial representations, but are integral to understanding the mysteries of the universe. In Buddhism, one of the most recognizable symbols is the lotus flower. On the surface, the lotus may appear as a simple flower that grows in muddy waters. However, in the esoteric tradition, the lotus holds immense symbolic power. It represents the purity of the soul, which, despite being rooted in the material world, rises above the chaos and filth of worldly attachments to bloom into enlightenment. The lotus symbolizes the journey of spiritual awakening, where the practitioner, much like the flower, must rise from ignorance to wisdom, from suffering to liberation. Hall also highlights the wheel of Dharma, or Dharma chakra, one of the most important symbols in Buddhism. The wheel, with its 8 spokes, represents the Noble Eightfold Path, a guide for ethical living and spiritual growth. But beyond its literal meaning, the wheel is a powerful symbol of the cyclical nature of existence, the eternal process of birth, death, and rebirth. It reflects the Buddhist understanding of samsara, the cycle of life, and the goal of transcending this cycle to achieve nirvana. Each spoke on the wheel corresponds to an aspect of the path, and together they represent the harmony of body, mind, and spirit necessary for spiritual liberation. In Hinduism, we see similar symbolic depth. The Om symbol, which is considered the most sacred sound and symbol in Hinduism, represents the primordial sound of the universe. It is said to be the sound of creation itself, encompassing the past, present, and future, as well as the material and spiritual realms. The symbol of Om connects the practitioner to the very essence of the universe, reminding them that they are part of an infinite and interconnected whole. Another powerful symbol in Hinduism is the Trishula, or trident, which is associated with Lord Shiva. On the surface, it may seem like just a weapon, but in esoteric terms, the trident represents the 3 aspects of existence: creation, preservation, and destruction. These 3 forces are the cyclical nature of the universe. Everything that is created will eventually be destroyed, and from destruction, there is rebirth. The trident serves as a reminder that these forces exist in harmony and balance, and understanding them is crucial to understanding the true nature of the universe. Both Buddhism and Hinduism use symbols to communicate not just spiritual principles, but the very essence of existence itself. These symbols, like those in Christianity, are designed to guide the initiate on a path of self-realization and spiritual enlightenment. Through understanding and meditating on these symbols, the practitioner begins to unlock deeper layers of truth, which can lead to personal transformation and union with the divine. As we continue, we will explore the esoteric symbolism found in other world religions, such as Judaism and Islam. These symbols, though often hidden in plain sight, carry profound meanings that tie all the great spiritual traditions together. Stay with us as we uncover more. As we continue our exploration into the hidden symbolism across the world's great religions, it is important to examine two more traditions that carry deep and ancient symbolism: Judaism and Islam. These religions, both rich in spiritual history and cultural depth, use symbols to encode profound truths, much like those we've explored in Christianity, Buddhism, and Hinduism. Let's look at some of the key symbols and their deeper meanings in these two faiths. In Judaism, one of the most powerful symbols is the Star of David. On the surface, it might simply appear as a geometric figure, two overlapping triangles forming a six-pointed star. However, this symbol carries significant esoteric meaning. For Manly P. Hall, the two interlaced triangles represent the union of opposites, the masculine and feminine, the spiritual and material, the active and passive forces of the universe. The upward-pointing triangle is associated with fire and the divine masculine, while the downward-pointing triangle is linked to water and the feminine energy. The union of these two forces creates a balance that is necessary for spiritual harmony and enlightenment. The menorah, another central symbol in Judaism, is often seen as a simple candelabrum used during religious ceremonies like Hanukkah. However, in the esoteric tradition, the menorah represents the tree of life, which is a central concept in the Kabbalah. The menorah, with its 7 branches, symbolizes the 7 days of creation and the 7 divine emanations, or sephirot, in the Kabbalistic tree of life. It reflects the flow of divine energy into the material world, and the path one must follow to achieve spiritual illumination. Each branch of the menorah represents a different aspect of existence, from wisdom to understanding, to mercy and severity, all of which are needed to understand the nature of God and the universe. Now, let's turn to Islam, a religion often associated with the imagery of the crescent moon and star. While this symbol is commonly recognized as representing Islam in the modern world, its deeper meanings are often overlooked. For Manly P. Hall, the crescent moon represents the waxing and waning of the soul, the cyclical nature of spiritual life. The moon, in many esoteric traditions, is seen as a symbol of the feminine, reflecting the ebb and flow of life, while the star is seen as a symbol of divine light, guidance, and spiritual truth. Together, the crescent moon and star point toward the idea of enlightenment, with the moon illuminating the darkness of ignorance and the star representing the guiding light of knowledge. One of the most prominent symbols in Islamic tradition is the geometric patterns seen in Islamic art and architecture, particularly in the intricate tile work and calligraphy. These patterns are not simply decorative, they have profound esoteric meanings. The repeating geometric shapes, such as the circle, hexagon, and octagon, represent the infinite nature of God and the unity of creation. The repetition of these forms symbolizes the unity of the universe, as well as the infinite qualities of Allah. Through contemplation of these forms, the practitioner is encouraged to connect with the divine presence, transcending the material world and embracing the timeless, infinite nature of God. In both Judaism and Islam, as with the other religions we've explored, symbols are used to encode deep spiritual truths. These symbols are not just markers of religious identity, they are tools that help the initiated understand the deeper, hidden dimensions of reality. The symbols in Judaism and Islam, like those in Christianity, Buddhism, and Hinduism, serve as a bridge between the material world and the divine, guiding the soul toward greater knowledge and spiritual transformation. As we move forward, we will begin to explore how these symbols, though seemingly unique to each tradition, share universal themes that connect all the great religions. These symbols, which have been hidden in plain sight for centuries, carry a deeper meaning that speaks to the heart of the human spiritual journey. Let's continue our exploration in the next part. Universal symbols, connecting all religions. As we continue our exploration of hidden symbolism in the great religions, one of the most fascinating discoveries is how many of these symbols share common themes and meanings across different traditions. Manly P. Hall often emphasized that the spiritual symbols found in various religions are not isolated from one another. In fact, they often represent universal truths about the human experience, the nature of existence, and the relationship between humanity and the divine. One such symbol that appears across many religious traditions is the serpent. In Christianity, the serpent is most famously seen in the story of Adam and Eve, representing temptation and the fall of man. But in many esoteric traditions, the serpent is seen in a much more positive light, For example, in ancient Egyptian mythology, the serpent was associated with wisdom and healing, as seen in the symbol of the caduceus, the staff entwined by two serpents, which represents the union of opposites and the healing power of the divine. In Hinduism, the serpent is often linked to Shiva, symbolizing the power of regeneration and transformation. For Hall, the serpent was not just a symbol of evil or temptation, rather, it represented the Kundalini energy in esoteric traditions, the spiritual force that lies dormant at the base of the spine awaiting awakening. When this energy is awakened, it ascends through the chakras, leading to spiritual enlightenment and the realization of the divine within. The serpent, therefore, is a symbol of both danger and enlightenment, representing the transformative power of the spiritual journey. Another universal symbol that transcends religious boundaries is the tree of life. While this symbol appears prominently in Judaism, where it is associated with the Kabbalistic tree of life, it also has strong connections to ancient mythologies and other religious traditions. In Norse mythology, the Yggdrasil is the sacred tree that connects the 9 worlds, symbolizing the interconnectedness of all life. In Christianity, the tree of knowledge in the Garden of Eden is seen as the source of wisdom and divine knowledge, albeit associated with humanity's fall. Similarly, in many Native American traditions, the tree of life represents the interconnectedness of all beings, linking the physical world with the spiritual realm. For Hall, the tree of life was a central symbol representing the universe itself, the cosmic structure that holds all things in balance. It was not just a physical tree, but a spiritual concept that depicted the interconnectedness of all existence. The roots, branches, and leaves of the tree symbolize the different realms of existence, from the physical to the divine. The fruit of the tree, often seen as a symbol of spiritual enlightenment, represents the ultimate goal of human existence, to attain knowledge, wisdom, and unity with the divine. The sun is another universal symbol that appears across many religious traditions, representing light, life, and divine power. In ancient Egyptian religion, the sun god Ra was considered the supreme deity, the creator of all life. In Christianity, the sun is often associated with Christ, the light of the world, symbolizing the divine illumination that dispels the darkness of ignorance and sin. In Hinduism, the Surya represents the source of life and energy, and is worshipped as a symbol of spiritual awakening and enlightenment. For Manly P. Hall, the sun represented the divine light of wisdom that guides the soul toward understanding and enlightenment. It is not just a physical star in the sky, but a symbol of the inner light that exists within each of us, waiting to be awakened. The sun's journey across the sky, from dawn to dusk, mirrors the spiritual journey of the soul, from ignorance to illumination, from death to rebirth, and ultimately, toward union with the divine. What's fascinating about these universal symbols is that they have endured across time and cultures, appearing in different religions and spiritual traditions around the world. While the symbols may vary in form, their deeper meanings remain the same, reflecting universal truths about the human condition and the nature of the cosmos. These symbols, whether representing light, wisdom, life, or transformation, all point toward a shared understanding of the divine and the journey of the soul toward enlightenment. In the next part, we'll delve into the hidden meanings behind the sacred geometry that underlies many of these symbols. This ancient science, which has been preserved by secret societies and esoteric traditions, holds the key to understanding the very structure of the universe itself. Stay with us as we continue to explore the profound depths of hidden spiritual knowledge. Sacred geometry, the blueprint of the universe. As we continue our exploration of hidden symbolism, one of the most powerful tools for understanding the mysteries of the universe is sacred geometry. This ancient science is the study of geometric shapes and patterns that are believed to underlie the very structure of the cosmos. Manly P. Hall believed that sacred geometry was not just a mathematical discipline, but a language of the divine, a key to unlocking the deeper spiritual truths embedded in the natural world. At the heart of sacred geometry is the flower of life, a symbol found in cultures and religious traditions across the world. The flower of life consists of multiple evenly spaced overlapping circles, creating a pattern that resembles a flower. This symbol represents the interconnectedness of all things in the universe, showing how everything is created from the same divine source. Hall argued that the flower of life is a representation of the universal blueprint, the pattern through which the divine manifests in the material world. The Vesica Piscis is another important figure in sacred geometry, often depicted as the shape formed by the intersection of two circles. This symbol is found in many ancient traditions, including Christianity, where it is used to represent the intersection of the divine and the human. In esoteric teachings, the Vesica Piscis represents the womb of creation, the space where all life emerges. It is a symbol of both unity and duality, the coming together of opposites to create something new and greater than the sum of its parts. One of the most famous geometric shapes in sacred geometry is the golden ratio, also known as the phi or divine proportion. This ratio is found throughout nature, from the arrangement of petals in flowers to the spirals of galaxies. It is a mathematical relationship that creates aesthetically pleasing proportions, and many believe that it reflects the harmony and order of the universe. For Hall, the golden ratio was a symbol of the divine intelligence that governs the cosmos. It represented the perfect balance and symmetry found in nature, the manifestation of the divine mind in the physical world. Hall also highlighted the importance of the Platonic solids, a set of 5 regular polyhedra that have been used in esoteric and mystical traditions for centuries. These shapes, the tetrahedron, cube, octahedron, dodecahedron, and icosahedron, represent the fundamental elements of the universe: fire, earth, air, ether, and water. The Platonic solids are seen as the building blocks of creation, and their study is thought to reveal the underlying structure of the physical and spiritual realms. In many religious traditions, these geometric shapes and patterns are not just seen as abstract forms, but as representations of divine principles. The ancient Egyptians, for example, incorporated sacred geometry into their temples and monuments, believing that the proportions and alignment of these structures could align the material world with divine energy. Similarly, in medieval Christian architecture, cathedrals were designed according to sacred geometry, with the intention of creating a space that could channel divine energy and elevate the soul toward God. For Manly P. Hall, sacred geometry was a key to understanding the connection between the macrocosm, the universe, and the microcosm, the human being. He believed that by contemplating these geometric patterns, the initiate could gain insight into the divine order that governs both the physical and spiritual worlds. Sacred geometry, according to Hall, was not just a means of understanding the universe, but a path to spiritual enlightenment. As we move forward in this journey, we'll delve deeper into the role of secret societies in preserving and passing down these sacred teachings. These societies, from the Freemasons to the Rosicrucians, have long been entrusted with guarding the ancient knowledge of sacred geometry and other esoteric wisdom. In the next part, we will explore how these secretive groups have played a pivotal role in preserving the symbolism and spiritual truths that have shaped our world. The role of secret societies in preserving hidden knowledge. As we continue to explore the hidden symbols and teachings that have been passed down through the ages, it's impossible to ignore the pivotal role that secret societies have played in preserving and transmitting esoteric knowledge. These groups, which often operate in the shadows, have long been associated with the safeguarding of sacred truths, from sacred geometry to the deepest spiritual mysteries. Manly P. Hall dedicated much of his work to uncovering the influence of these societies and understanding how they shaped the development of Western philosophy, spirituality, and even politics. One of the most well-known secret societies is the Freemasons. Hall believed that Freemasonry was more than just a fraternal organization. It was a spiritual order with ancient roots in esoteric traditions. According to Hall, the Masons had access to ancient knowledge, including teachings on sacred geometry, alchemy, and the nature of the soul. He argued that the Masonic rituals, while outwardly focused on personal conduct and charity, were deeply symbolic and encoded with higher spiritual teachings that could guide the initiate toward enlightenment. The Masonic square and compass, perhaps the most recognizable symbol of Freemasonry, is an excellent example of the hidden knowledge embedded in these societies. On the surface, the symbol may seem like a simple tool used in construction, but in esoteric terms, it represents the union of spirituality, the compass, and materiality, the square. The point within the symbol, Hall suggested, represents the divine spark within each of us, guiding us toward higher consciousness and understanding. For the Masons, the journey of the initiate is about aligning one's life with divine order, using these symbols as guides to unlock greater truths. Another influential secret society is the Rosicrucians, a mystical group with a rich history in Western esotericism. The Rosicrucians believed in the power of symbols, especially those related to the alchemical transformation of the self. For Hall, the Rosicrucians embodied the integration of science, mysticism, and spirituality, and their teachings were designed to help individuals achieve spiritual alchemy, the process of turning the base self into the enlightened divine self. Their symbols, such as the rose cross, represented the union of the physical and spiritual worlds. The rose symbolized divine beauty, and the cross represented the material world. Together, they reflected the process of spiritual purification and transformation. Other secret societies, such as the Theosophical Society and the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn, also played key roles in preserving and transmitting esoteric wisdom. Hall was particularly interested in how these organizations acted as guardians of ancient knowledge, often operating under the radar to avoid persecution or misunderstanding. These groups, Hall believed, were responsible for preserving the wisdom of the ancients from Hermeticism to Neoplatonism, and for passing it on to a select group of initiates who were prepared to understand and use it. In addition to preserving sacred knowledge, secret societies were often seen as the keepers of spiritual initiation. Hall argued that the true meaning of initiation, a central theme in many esoteric traditions, was not about outward rituals or ceremonies, but about inner transformation. Initiates were not simply being made members of a society, but were undergoing a spiritual awakening, where they could access deeper layers of truth about the universe, the divine, and their own nature. For Hall, these societies were a necessary part of the spiritual landscape. He believed that while mainstream religions often presented diluted or surface-level versions of spiritual teachings, secret societies provided the tools for the serious seeker to access higher wisdom. These societies, with their intricate rituals, symbols, and teachings, were designed to awaken the soul to its true potential, helping initiates align with the divine plan and navigate the complexities of the material world. In the next part, we will examine the intersection of science and spirituality in the works of Manly P. Hall and how his exploration of these realms helped bridge the gap between ancient wisdom and modern understanding. Stay tuned as we continue to uncover the hidden knowledge that connects all realms of existence, the intersection of science and spirituality. As we delve deeper into the world of hidden symbolism, one of the most intriguing aspects of Manly P. Hall's teachings is his exploration of the intersection between science and spirituality. While many people view these two domains as separate, with science focusing on the material world and spirituality concerned with the unseen, Hall believed that they were, in fact, deeply interconnected. For Hall, the ancient philosophers, mystics, and scientists understood something that modern science has yet to fully grasp. The universe is governed by both physical and spiritual laws, and true understanding requires integrating both perspectives. Hall's work was deeply influenced by the idea that spirituality is not opposed to science, but rather complements it. He believed that the ancient traditions of the Greeks, Egyptians, Indians, and other cultures understood the laws of nature in a way that modern science has only begun to rediscover. For instance, the ancient Egyptians, Hall argued, did not separate the physical world from the spiritual world. They saw the universe as a holistic system, where every physical phenomenon had a corresponding spiritual truth. One of the key teachings of ancient mysticism, according to Hall, is that the microcosm reflects the macrocosm. This idea, found in Hermeticism and Neoplatonism, suggests that everything in the universe is interconnected, from the smallest particle to the largest galaxy. The human being as a microcosm reflects the structure and order of the cosmos, or macrocosm. This concept is symbolized in the famous Hermetic axiom, as above, so below, as within, so without. Hall believed that the laws of the universe, which modern science is only beginning to understand, were known to ancient sages and mystics. These laws govern not just the material world, but also the spiritual realm. For example, the ancient understanding of sacred geometry, which we explored earlier, reflects the hidden order behind all creation. This order, Hall argued, is both physical and spiritual, and the study of geometry reveals the divine blueprint of the universe. Scientists today are beginning to uncover the mathematical patterns that govern everything, from the structure of atoms to the movements of galaxies. But Hall believed that these patterns had been known to the ancients for thousands of years. In his writings, Hall often referred to the work of Isaac Newton, who, despite his profound contributions to physics and mathematics, was also deeply interested in alchemy and spiritual matters. Newton, Hall suggested, did not see a conflict between science and spirituality. Instead, he believed that the laws of the universe were reflections of divine order, and that the pursuit of knowledge was a spiritual endeavor. Hall believed that many of the greatest scientific minds, both in antiquity and in more recent times, recognized that the pursuit of knowledge was not just about understanding the physical world, but also about understanding the divine principles that govern it. One of the most compelling aspects of Hall's teachings is his idea that modern science, particularly in the fields of quantum physics and cosmology, is beginning to approach a point where it intersects with ancient spiritual wisdom. As physicists delve deeper into the nature of matter, they are discovering concepts that were described by ancient mystics thousands of years ago. The idea that the universe is interconnected and that everything is part of a unified whole is central to both modern physics and ancient spiritual traditions. The concept of energy, which modern physics recognizes as the fundamental force of the universe, is also deeply aligned with the ancient understanding of the spiritual energy that flows through all things. For Hall, the exploration of the spiritual dimensions of reality was not just a philosophical endeavor, but a practical one. He believed that understanding the hidden laws of the universe could help us navigate life's challenges and achieve greater spiritual and material success. The key to this understanding, he argued, lies in the ancient teachings that have been passed down through secret societies, religious traditions, and esoteric schools of thought. These teachings offer insights into the deeper truths of existence, and by integrating them with modern knowledge, we can achieve a more complete understanding of ourselves and the universe. In the next part, we'll shift our focus to religious symbolism in relation to personal transformation. How do these ancient symbols and teachings help guide the individual on their journey of self-realization and spiritual awakening? Stay with us as we continue to explore the profound impact of these hidden teachings, symbolism and personal transformation. As we continue to explore the hidden symbolism in the world's great religions and esoteric traditions, one key theme emerges: personal transformation. Manly P. Hall firmly believed that religious symbols, sacred teachings, and the mysteries of ancient wisdom were not just abstract concepts or historical curiosities. They were tools for spiritual awakening and personal transformation. These symbols and teachings, when understood at a deeper level, were designed to guide the individual on a journey of self-realization, helping them awaken to their true nature and their connection to the divine. The spiritual journey, according to Hall, was not a simple matter of intellectual understanding or external rituals. It was an internal process of transformation, a journey of becoming. Much like the symbolic serpent shedding its skin or the lotus flower rising from the muddy waters of material life, the initiate on this journey must undergo a profound metamorphosis. This process of transformation is often depicted symbolically in various religious and mystical traditions. One of the most profound symbols of transformation can be found in alchemy. Alchemical teachings, which Hall explored extensively, are often misinterpreted as a mere attempt to turn base metals into gold. But in the esoteric tradition, alchemy represents the spiritual process of turning the base or ignorant self into the gold of enlightened consciousness. The famous philosopher's stone, for instance, is a symbol of the ultimate goal of this transformation: the realization of the divine within, the union of the human soul with the higher realms of existence. Hall often referred to initiation as the key to personal transformation. In many esoteric traditions, initiation is not just about being admitted into a secret society or organization. It is a spiritual awakening, a process of uncovering the hidden truths within oneself. Through initiation, the initiate is led through a series of rituals and teachings that represent different stages of spiritual development. These stages correspond to the stages of personal transformation, where the initiate moves from ignorance to knowledge, from darkness to light, and from the mundane to the divine. Initiation can be seen as a metaphor for the personal struggle every individual faces in their spiritual journey. The process of transformation involves overcoming the limitations of the ego, transcending worldly desires, and aligning oneself with divine principles. This inner struggle is symbolized in various ways across religions, from the temptation of Christ in the desert to the challenges faced by the Buddha under the Bodhi tree. These stories are not just historical accounts. They are allegories for the spiritual struggles that every individual must face on their path to enlightenment. One of the central aspects of Hall's teachings was the idea that spiritual enlightenment was not something that could be attained simply through external practices or knowledge. It was an inner realization, the awakening of the divine spark within. The divine spark or inner light is often symbolized by the sun in many spiritual traditions. For Hall, this light represents the higher consciousness that resides within each of us. The goal of personal transformation, therefore, is to awaken this inner light, allowing it to illuminate the darkness of ignorance and guide the individual towards spiritual fulfillment. Hall also explored the connection between personal transformation and universal transformation. He believed that the process of individual enlightenment was intimately connected to the greater spiritual evolution of humanity as a whole. In this sense, the journey of personal transformation mirrors the journey of the collective human spirit, a journey toward higher consciousness, greater understanding, and ultimately, union with the divine. This is why, for Hall, the study of religious symbolism and esoteric teachings was not just about personal growth. It was about contributing to the spiritual evolution of the world. As we conclude this part of our journey, we will shift our focus to the practical application of these teachings. How can we take the symbols and spiritual principles we've discussed and apply them to our everyday lives? What steps can we take to begin our own process of personal transformation? In the final part of this video, we'll explore practical ways to integrate the hidden wisdom of the great religions and esoteric traditions into our modern lives, helping us achieve spiritual awakening and fulfillment. Practical application of esoteric wisdom. As we reach the final part of our journey through hidden symbolism and the profound teachings of Manly P. Hall, it's time to address a crucial question. How can we apply the esoteric wisdom and spiritual principles we've explored to our everyday lives? This is the ultimate purpose of these teachings, not just to understand the hidden truths, but to live them, embody them, and allow them to transform us. Let's now look at practical ways to integrate this knowledge and begin our own path of personal transformation. First, it's important to understand that the journey of spiritual awakening is a process, one that takes time, patience, and dedication. While the esoteric symbols and teachings may seem complex or mystical, they are grounded in universal principles that can be applied in practical ways. Here are a few steps you can take to start integrating these teachings into your life. Meditation and contemplation. One of the most powerful tools for personal transformation is meditation. By taking time each day to quiet the mind and reflect on the deeper truths of existence, you begin to connect with your inner light and the divine spark within you. Use meditation as a way to contemplate the symbols and teachings that resonate with you. Whether it's the cross, the lotus, or the tree of life, meditation allows you to internalize these symbols and gain deeper insights into their meanings. The practice of meditation also helps to still the ego and allow higher consciousness to emerge. Study and reflection on sacred symbols. As we've seen throughout this video, religious symbols are not just for decoration or ritual. They are pathways to higher knowledge. Take time to study and reflect on the symbols that resonate with you and seek to understand their deeper meanings. For example, when you see the serpent, think not just of temptation, but of the kundalini energy that resides within you, waiting to be awakened. When you look at the lotus, reflect on how you can rise above the material world and bloom in the light of spiritual wisdom. These symbols serve as constant reminders of your spiritual potential and can guide you on your journey. Apply sacred geometry. Sacred geometry is not just an abstract concept. It can be applied to many aspects of your life. Whether you're designing your living space, planning a project, or simply going about your daily activities, consider how the principles of balance, symmetry, and harmony can influence your decisions. By aligning yourself with the golden ratio or other geometric patterns, You can create an environment that supports your spiritual growth and fosters a sense of inner peace. The study of sacred geometry also helps you connect with the divine blueprint of the universe, reinforcing your awareness of the interconnection between all things. Embrace the path of initiation. The path of initiation, as described by Hall, is one of continuous self-discovery and spiritual growth. To begin this journey, commit yourself to a process of self-reflection and self-improvement. Initiation is not a one-time event. It is an ongoing journey that involves constant learning, growth, and transformation. Seek out spiritual teachings, join communities that support your path, and challenge yourself to go deeper into the mysteries of existence. This could involve formal study, but it also includes living your life with intention, integrity, and a commitment to awakening to your highest potential. Live in harmony with universal laws. One of the central teachings of Hall and many esoteric traditions is the idea that the universe is governed by universal laws, laws that govern not only the physical world, but also the spiritual realm. By aligning yourself with these laws, you can create a life of balance, fulfillment, and spiritual progress. Take time to study the law of correspondence, the law of polarity, and other hermetic principles that suggest everything in the universe is connected and operates in harmony. Living in alignment with these laws can bring clarity, direction, and peace into your life, helping you navigate the challenges of the material world while staying focused on your spiritual path. Contribute to the spiritual evolution of humanity. Hall believed that spiritual enlightenment was not just for the individual, it was for the collective. The process of personal transformation, when applied universally, contributes to the spiritual evolution of humanity as a whole. By living your life with greater awareness, compassion, and wisdom, you play a part in raising the consciousness of the entire world. Share the teachings you've learned with others, not as a way to impose beliefs, but as a means of guiding others toward their own spiritual awakening. In conclusion, the teachings of Manly P. Hall offer us a profound roadmap for navigating the hidden spiritual dimensions of life. Through the study of symbols, sacred geometry, initiation, and the alignment with universal laws, we are given the tools to transform ourselves and connect with the divine. These teachings, while ancient, are as relevant today as ever. By incorporating them into our daily lives, we can achieve a deeper understanding of ourselves, the universe, and the divine. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the hidden symbolism in the world's great religions. If this video has inspired you, don't forget to subscribe, like, and leave a comment below with your thoughts on these esoteric teachings. How will you apply the wisdom of these ancient symbols in your own life? We look forward to hearing your insights and continuing the conversation.